Dear friends, all the teacher colleagues, and my dear students, myself Dr. P.K. Verma. Today I shall discuss the immune system, that is the system by which we are able to resist a number of diseases, the viral diseases, bacterial diseases, fungal and protozoal diseases, and many more. It is much more talked these days because of the pandemic corona that the virus cannot attack those persons or affect those persons who have the strong immunity. So we must know how the immunity occurs. I have already discussed the innate immunity and acquired immunity earlier in immunology. Today I shall discuss the immune system, the cells and tissues responsible for our immunity. The immune system of an organism consists of several structurally and functionally different organs and tissues that are widely distributed in our body. On the basis of their functions, these organs are classified as primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. So by the name lymphoid, you can imagine that it is the lymphatic system of our body that is mainly responsible for developing immunity against the viruses, bacteria and fungi. Now let us discuss what is the primary lymphoid organs. In the primary lymphoid organs, maturation of lymphocytes take place and these lymphocytes become committed to a particular antigenic specificity. Lymphocytes, you know, these are found in our blood circulation, but these lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow. They can become mature in bone marrow or in the thymus gland. So the primary lymphoid organs are those organs in which the maturation of lymphocyte takes place. Only when the lymphocytes become mature in the primary lymphoid organs, they become immunocompetent cells. That is, before maturation, the lymphocytes cannot fight with infections, the pathogens or the antigens contributed by those pathogens. But after maturation, they become immunocompetent cells, that is, they can form the antibodies against antigens. In mammals, B cells maturation occur in the bone marrow itself, but the T cell maturation occurs in thymus gland. Remember it, B cells and T cells both are formed initially in the bone marrow, but B cells mature within the bone marrow, whereas the T cells are transported to thymus gland, and there they become mature. But the term B does not mean bone marrow. In mammals, colonies of B cells and T cells differentiate in the bone marrow. The immature B cells proliferate and differentiate within the bone marrow. Differentiation of these cells is a complex process in which the stromal cells interact directly with B cells and secrete certain cytokines that help in development of the B cells. Now the term B belongs to Bursa fibricini. Bursa fibrici or the fibricinus, in which at first the B lymphocytes were discovered. So the term B, prefix B, is used for Bursa fibricinus, not for the bone marrow. Thymus gland is situated above the heart as a bilobed structure. It is situated beneath the breastbones. In children, it is quite larger, but the size decreases with age, and by the time of puberty, it attains a very small size. It means the children have more active thymus gland than the adults. Each lobe is internally zonated, that is divided into different zones, into many lobules, which are separated from each other by connective tissue strands known as trabeculae. Each lobule contains a central medulla and an outer cortex. Outer part of any organ, kidney, adrenal, etc., is called cortex, and inner part is called medulla. In the transverse section of root and stem also, you call the outer tissues cortex and inner tissues medulla. The immature T cells, also known as thymocytes, are densely populated in the cortex. That is, the immature T cells are collected inside the cortex. The secondary lymphoid organs are lymph nodes and the spleen. The spleen is most organized secondary lymphoid organ. The lymphoid tissues are found in various parts of body and are connected together by lymphatic vessels and ducts. The lymphoid tissues are also located within the lining or respiratory tract, digestive tract. In intestine, it forms the Peyer's passage. In the urogenital tract, where these are called mucosal associated lymphoid tissues, MALT, they constitute about 50% of total lymphoid tissue. Now see the diagram. In green color, you can see a small lymphatic nodes and the lymphatic vessels connecting these nodes in different parts of the body. You can see in between your thigh, the inguinal lymphatic nodes are present. In the entire body, such nodes are there. Even on the surface of lungs, there are lymphatic nodes, and in the intestine, bone, etc. Here you see the term Peyer's passage. These Peyer's passages are the small lymphatic nodes present in intestine. In the armpits, the axillary lymphatic nodes are present. So, small lymphatic nodes are present almost in every part of the body. Even your tonsils are the lymphatic glands. The same is shown in case of females also. There also the groin has lymphatic nodes. Here mainly the lymphatic vessels have been shown, and the nodes are present in their cheeks also. This is the position where the thymus gland is present. And in the lymphatic system, here is a sagittal section showing internal zonation and presence of the connective tissue. Now, what are the cells of immune system? As mentioned earlier, the lymphocytes are the chief cells of immune system, as they have a major role to play during immune response of the body. That is, when infection develops, the lymphocytes become active and they start fighting with the pathogens within a day or two. If antibodies are not formed earlier, it will take 3 to 4 days. They comprise 20% to 40% of total WBC present in blood and 99% of the total cells present in lymph. So when you will see the complete blood components report, CBC reports, or the TCDC, you will find that the lymphocyte count is always more than 20%. In case of infections, this count further increases. So 20% to 40% lymphocytes are present among the total WBC in blood plasma. But in the lymphatic system, there is no RBC, no platelet. The chief cells are the lymphocytes there. The lymphocytes continuously circulate through blood and lymph and migrate to the tissue spaces and lymphoid organs. The lymphocytes are broadly classified on the basis of their function and cell membrane components into 3 types: B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, and the third is the null cell. Most people are now well acquainted with B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes, but only the students of biotechnology or the postgraduate students know that there are null cells also. In these 3 forms, or the non-phagocytic motile cells, but these cannot be distinguished morphologically. Unlike the neutrophil and the monocytes, lymphocytes is identified as one type, but we are discussing about the 3 types of lymphocytes: B cells, T cells, and null cells. They don't differ in their morphology, their cell size, their nuclear structure remain same. So how these are differentiated? At different stages of development, some specific proteins are formed on the cell surface that acts as molecular markers of these cells. These membrane-bound proteins are known as cluster of differentiation or CD molecule. They differ in their molecular weights as well as their amino acid composition. These molecules are identified by reacting with monoclonal antibodies. On the basis of these CD molecules, that is clusters of differentiation, B cells and different types of T cells are differentiated from each other. Now, what is the B lymphocyte? Earlier it was mentioned that it was at first identified in the tissue of bird known as bursa of Fabricius. Hence this name B lymphocyte has been given. In mammals these are formed and become mature in bone marrow. They leave the bone marrow after expressing a membrane-bound receptor, that is IgM. Ig means immunoglobulin, and M is its type of antibody. Antibodies have 5 classes and one of them is IgM. So they have IgM receptor on the cell surface. When a naive B cell encounters an antigen through the receptor, the cell gets activated and begins to divide rapidly. Carefully remember this point. The naive B cells are not specified for identification of any specific antigen, but the IgM molecule present on its cell surface can bind the foreign particles, foreign substances, that is the antigen. The cells get activated and begin to divide rapidly. The progeny derived from these B cells differentiate into memory B cells and effector B cells or the plasma cells. That is, they undergo a process of genetic shuffling and reshuffling of the exons, by which a very specific combination of amino acids is formed near the amino terminals of the heavy chain and light chains of the antibodies. This region you will study later on is known as variable region, and this variable region is the part of antibody that binds with a specific antigen. So once the process goes on and a specific combination of variable region is selected, some of the cells enter into G0 phase or G0 phase. They become inactive and act as the memory B cells. The other population continue to multiply and form effector B cells that circulate into the blood. These are also known as plasma cells. The memory B cells have a long lifespan and they continue to express membrane-bound antibody with the same specificity as the original parent B cells. These cells have memorized the combination. They will remain in sleeping mode, and whenever the infection will develop second time or third time, they become active and they start to multiply to form the effector B cells. So the formation of effector B cell takes very small time if there is a memory B cells. Now the another effector B cell or the plasma cell do not possess membrane bound antibody. Instead they start producing the antibody molecules within their cytoplasm and secrete enormous amount of antibody by exocytosis, which is a major effector molecule of humoral antibody, that is secretory antibody. So the plasma cell or effector B cells produce antibodies in large amount. They can form 2000 molecules per minute and release them into blood plasma. So blood plasma gradually becomes richer with a specific antibody. It is estimated that a single plasma cell can secrete as much as 2000 antibody molecules per second. Plasma cells last only for a few days. So their production continues inside the bone marrow. They come in circulation. They form the antibodies 2000 molecules per second for 3 or 3.5 days. After that, these cells die. So the lifespan is very short. The T lymphocyte, these lymphocytes derive their name from the site of maturation, that is the thymus gland. These are formed in bone marrow. The naive cells are transported to thymus gland. There they become mature. They also arise from the hemopoietic stem cell in the bone marrow and later migrate to thymus gland to mature. They help in cell-mediated immune response. That is, the T cells directly involve themselves in the immune response. Like B lymphocytes, T cells also have a membrane-bound antigen receptor, which is structurally different from immunoglobulin. It does not belong to either of the 5 classes of immunoglobulin, but it does share some common structural features with immunoglobulin molecule, especially their binding sites are similar to the immunoglobulins. This receptor is called T cell receptor or TCR, which can only recognize the antigen being presented by a cell membrane bound protein known as major histocompatible complex, MHC. Later on you will study about these antigen receptors, MHC1, MHC2 and MHC3. So the cell bound MHC molecules carry the antigen to the T cells, and these cells now can recognize the antigens. When a naive T cell encounters an antigen on its receptor through a MHC molecule, the T cell gets activated and proliferate and differentiate into memory T cell and the various other effector T cells. So like the memory cells of B lymphocyte, T lymphocytes also have memory cells. Thus the fundamental difference between the humoral and cell-mediated immune response is that the B cells are capable of binding to soluble antigen. They secrete antibody themselves, whereas the T cells can bind only to antigens displayed on self cell, APC, viral infected cells, cancer cells, and tissue graft, etc. These antigens are bound to MHC molecule, major histocompatible molecules. The cell system has evolved to eliminate these altered self cells which are a threat to the normal functioning of body. That means the T cells can eliminate those cells that bind the antigen on their cell surface. So whether it is a cancer cell or any other cell, it will be destroyed by the T lymphocytes or the T cells. There are two well-defined subpopulations of T cells which, in addition to expression of TCR, also express on their membrane one of the other two membrane molecules known as CD4 and CD8. That is too important. There are many CD molecules. More than 250 CD molecules have been discussed in the original textbooks of immunology like Kubi's immunology. But these two cells are very important. CD4 and CD8 can differentiate the two subpopulations of the T lymphocytes. The T cells displaying CD4 glycoproteins generally function as T helper cells, that is TH cells. TH cells bear CD4 glycoprotein molecules, and those displaying CD8 function as T cytotoxic, that is TC cells. These are the two major groups, T helper cell or TH cells. They have CD4 molecule. T cytotoxic or TC cells, they have CD8 molecules. So just by differentiating these two CD molecules, one can differentiate between T helper cell and the T cytotoxic cells. Otherwise they look similar. TH cells recognize and interact with antigen present on class 2 MHC molecules on an antigen presenting cell. I have already told that there are MHC1, MHC2, MHC3, only 3, not more. So the class 2 MHC molecules, when bind an antigen, these antigens are identified by T helper cell. Following this interaction, the T helper cells get activated and undergo expansive proliferation, that is cell division, to give rise to many daughter cells of same antigen specificity. That is, after activation they produce large number of T helper cells, and these T helper cells can now identify the antigens. These are called effector cells. The TH cells secrete a specific cytokines. Remember it. They secrete a specific cytokines which are responsible for activation of B cells. That is, with the help of cytokines, B cells are activated. B cells start proliferating. B cells start producing antibodies. The TC cells or cytotoxic cells and other cells of immune response, these all are activated with the help of T helper cell. If the T helper cells are damaged, activation of B cells, TC cells and other cells of immune system cannot be made. TC cells are activated under the influence of cytokines produced by TH cells and on interaction with an antigen presented on class 1 MHC. Remember it, TH was able to identify antigen presented by class 2 MHC, but TC identifies antigen presented on class 1 MHC. They may be presented on the surface of an altered cells due to transformation of the cell or due to a viral infection. This activation results in differentiation of the TC cells into an effector cell called cytotoxic T lymphocyte CTL. Cytotoxic T lymphocyte, that is CTL. So TC cells when become effector, these are called cytotoxic T lymphocyte or CTL. There is also a regulatory T cell, earlier known as suppressor T cells, Treg or TS, which down-regulates the immune system, maintains tolerance to self-antigen, and down-regulate the autoimmune diseases. So if there is deficiency of the formation of the regulatory T cell or suppressor T cell, there is chance that autoimmune disorder will develop. It has CD4 as well as CD25 on the cell membrane. It has CD25. TH and TC had no CD25. TH had CD4, TC CD8, and the Treg or TS cells have CD4 as well as CD25. The T cell receptor has great variation and the exact mechanism of their selection and function is still not very clear, but believe it, it is very unique genetic process not discussed by a normal genetic system of gene expression. In the peripheral circulation, there are many lymphocytes that lack the CD molecules that distinguish the B or T cell lineage, so they fail to display the antigen binding receptors and lack the ability of forming the memory cells. The natural killer cells belong to such lymphocytes having no specific CD molecule on the cell surface. They are large granulocytes and constitute 5 to 10% of the peripheral human blood lymphocytes. The killer cells show cytotoxic activities against tumor cells in the absence of any previous immunization with tumor. The NK cells can interact with tumor cells in two different ways. In some cases, they interact with tumor cells directly in a non-specific antibody-independent manner, and in some other cases they express CD16 as the Fc receptor for the immunoglobulin G, IgG molecules. Therefore, NK cells show antibody-dependent cytotoxicity against tumor which is bound by the tumor specific immunoglobulin G antibody. Now you can differentiate between B cells, T cells and NK cells. You can mark CD2 is present on TH and TC both but absent in NK cell. CD3 also is present in TH and TC both but absent in NK cell. CD4 is present in the T helper cell and CD8 in the T cytotoxic cell. The NK cell possesses this CD16, so only the CD4, CD8 and CD16 can differentiate the three types of T lymphocytes, TH, TC and NK cells. Now, these are the functions of CD molecules. CD2 adhesion and signal transduction, CD3 signal transduction, CD4 adhesion, signal transduction and binding to MHC2, CD8 adhesion, signal transduction, binding to MHC1, CD16 low affinity receptor for Fc region and CD28 receptor for co-stimulating B7 molecule of antigen present in the blood or on the tissue. So it is easy to understand immune system and a basic concept of B lymphocyte that secretes antibody and T lymphocyte that does not secrete antibody, rather it synthesizes its own antibody and directly interact with the antigen bound to the affected cells. But there are many things deeper in their functioning and expression of antibodies that you will learn in due course in higher level. So now you know sufficient about the immune system. See you in the next session when I shall discuss the structure of antibody. Thank you very much.